Groundbreaking inventions rejected before changing the world. Today, we're exploring the surprising journeys of inventions that went from "who needs that?" to "how did we ever live without it?" Prepare to be amazed at what nearly got left behind. The telephone. Can you imagine a world without telephones? Well, that's what the main telegram company imagined. It was the year 1877 when Alexander Graham Bell first tried to sell his invention to Western Union for $100,000. The telegraph company rejected the offer because, according to them, it was an idea lacking commercial value. This fact inspired him to create the Bell Telephone Company himself. By the time Bell's patent in the US expired in 1895, the company had amassed a total of some 300,000 subscribers throughout the country. The world of telecommunications has changed forever, allowing our words to fly far and wide across the globe. Next time you get a sales call at nap time, think about how it could have been a telegram. The light bulb. Could an invention that brought light to the world really be mocked? Thomas Edison's incandescent light bulb was initially seen as impractical and too expensive. Critics argued that it was unnecessary when gas lamps were already widespread, and it is normal to have detractors when the creation of the bulb, according to records, failed no less than 2,774 times. Until finally he managed to get a model that burned for more than 1,200 hours. Wizard of Menlo Park once said, "I have not failed 10,000 times. I've successfully found 10,000 ways that will not work." The airplane. In 1903, the New York Times predicted that airplanes would take 10 million years to develop. Imagine their faces. When that same year, Wilbur and Orville Wright from Ohio managed to make the plane they had built fly for 12 seconds above the sand dunes of Kitty Hawk. Just 2 years later, the Wright brothers took to the skies, proving that flight was not just a dream, making the world a smaller and more accessible place for all of us. The personal computer. When Jobs and Wozniak pitched their first personal computer in 1976, most people saw no need for such a device in everyday life. Their vision of a computer in every home was seen as unrealistic. Today, personal computers are a cornerstone of modern life, and Apple is one of the most valuable companies in the world. The Internet. What if the Internet, known at the time as ARPANET, was once dismissed as an academic experiment with no practical use? In its early days, the Internet was seen as a tool for academics, with little to no commercial application. Early skeptics could not foresee its potential to connect billions of people and revolutionize industries. And those who did see the potential thought it would wipe out thousands of jobs and leave a world without magazines, musicians, or film industry. It is true that the beginnings were hard, with those annoying sounds when connecting to the telephone line. But over time, everything began to make sense. IRC, forums, Wikipedia, Google, and YouTube, until they became that essential tool in our daily lives. The automobile. What if I told you that in 1886, people thought cars were just a passing fad? Horses were trusted, and this new horseless carriage seemed unnecessary and even strange. Carl Benz struggled to sell his invention until his wife, Bertha, famously took the car on a 100-kilometer road trip. Stopping for fuel at pharmacies and making quick repairs herself, she proved its practicality, marking the world's first long-distance car journey. Today, cars are everywhere, and life without them is almost unimaginable, though once, few believed they'd replace the horse. The electric car. At first, many in the auto industry doubted Tesla's electric cars, predicting they'd never compete with traditional vehicles. Electric cars were seen as a niche experiment, destined to fail against gas-powered giants. But Elon Musk and Tesla changed that perception with bold innovation and high-performance vehicles that caught the world's attention. In 2023, global sales of electric vehicles reached approximately 14 million units, marking a 35% increase from the previous year. The electric vehicle market has become a multi-billion-dollar industry, with significant growth projected in the coming years, leading the future of transportation. Wi-Fi. During World War II, actress Hedy Lamarr and composer George Antheil developed a groundbreaking frequency-hopping technology to create secure military communications. At the time, the military dismissed it as impractical, and the innovation went largely unrecognized for decades. Wi-Fi isn't just for streaming movies or scrolling social media. Today, it's used in everything from smart fridges that tell you when you're out of milk to wearable health devices that track your heart rate in real time. Even pets have joined the Wi-Fi revolution. Some cities offer smart public trash cans that use Wi-Fi to signal when they're full. The hoverboard. How could an invention that promised to change urban transport be so quickly rejected? When Dean Kamen unveiled the Segway, it was hailed as a futuristic solution for city travel. But high costs, bulkiness, and skepticism about its practicality kept it from gaining widespread acceptance. While the Segway didn't replace cars as once predicted, its pioneering technology paved the way for popular devices like hoverboards and electric scooters, personal mobility tools now commonly used for quick trips, last-mile commutes, and even city tours. Thanks to Kamen's early vision, zipping around town on two wheels is now cooler, more accessible, and yes, a bit closer to the future we imagined. The microwave oven. Could heating food with waves really have seemed so absurd? After a chocolate bar melted in his pocket, the engineer Percy Spencer accidentally realized that microwaves could cook food. Skeptics raised several concerns beyond health fears. Many doubted that microwaves could cook food evenly or thoroughly, believing they'd only be useful for reheating rather than real cooking. Some food enthusiasts argued that microwaving would strip food of flavor and quality, reducing meals to bland, rubbery textures. Others worried about radiation exposure, even though microwaves are designed to contain it safely. Fast forward to today, and the microwave is a kitchen hero found in almost every home. It's not just for reheating leftovers, it's a lifeline for busy schedules, midnight snacks, and even mug cakes. Spencer's gimmick has become a staple, proving that convenience can be revolutionary. The Slinky. Could a simple spring really become a worldwide sensation? Engineer Richard James stumbled upon the Slinky by accident while working on tension springs for naval equipment. Retailers were highly skeptical. Many doubted that a mere metal coil could capture anyone's interest. To them, the Slinky seemed far too basic to compete with other toys. It had no bright colors, moving parts, or elaborate design. But once it hit store shelves, the Slinky's mesmerizing walk downstairs and endless tricks turned it into an instant hit. What began as a fluke became a cultural icon, loved by children and adults alike. Decades later, the Slinky remains a symbol of playful simplicity, proving that sometimes the simplest inventions have the most lasting charm. The Post-it note. What if one of the world's most used office supplies was initially rejected? When Spencer Silver invented a low-tack adhesive in 1968, he struggled to find a use for it. Companies dismissed the idea, thinking a sticky note that could be easily removed wouldn't be useful enough to sell. Even within 3M, the idea was shelved for years, as no one saw its potential as a practical office tool. Eventually, Art Fry, a colleague of Silver's, had the idea to use the sticky paper as a bookmark that wouldn't fall out. Once released, the Post-it note quickly became an office essential, loved for its versatility and simplicity. Today, these little sticky squares are used by millions worldwide, proving that even ideas dismissed as useless can find their way into everyday life. The heart transplant. Many in the medical community question the ethics and safety of the procedure, worrying about the survival rates and long-term viability. The idea of removing and replacing the heart seemed too radical. Many feared the human body simply couldn't withstand it. Dr. Christian Barnard performed the world's first successful heart transplant in 1967. Despite early doubts, Barnard's pioneering work paved the way for a life-saving procedure that today helps thousands. Heart transplants have become a testament to human resilience and medical progress, proving that some of the most profound breakthroughs often emerge from what was once thought impossible. The parachute. In the late 18th century, people mocked the notion of safely falling from the sky, dismissing it as reckless and dangerous. Skeptics joked that a piece of fabric would hardly prevent a fatal crash, and some even warned Garnerin that he was courting disaster with his daring experiment. But in 1797, André-Jacques Garnerin silenced his critics with a bold demonstration. leaping from a balloon high above Paris and landing safely on the ground below. Today, parachutes are essential for both aviation safety and extreme sports, proving that Garnerin's absurd idea was truly groundbreaking. The umbrella. When Jonas Hanway began using an umbrella in 18th century England, people found it absurd and even offensive. Critics ridiculed him for walking around with what they considered a silly contraption, insisting that only horse-drawn carriages should keep people dry in the rain. Some passers-by jeered, calling umbrellas unnecessary and frivolous, while coach drivers felt personally threatened, fearing they'd lose business if umbrellas caught on. Despite the mockery, Hanway's persistence paid off, and the umbrella gradually became a staple for rainy days. Today, umbrellas are indispensable worldwide, and the idea of braving a downpour without one seems unthinkable. Radio. What if the airwaves had remained silent? When Guglielmo Marconi first developed radio technology, many dismissed it as a pointless experiment. Critics scoffed at the idea of transmitting sound through the air, arguing it was impractical and would never have real-world applications. Some even joked that it was magic rather than science and saw no future in invisible waves carrying information. Yet Marconi's vision prevailed, and radio transformed communication, bringing news, music, and entertainment into millions of homes. From skepticism to essential, radio proved the naysayers wrong and became a cornerstone of modern media. Television. What if TV had remained an unnecessary luxury? The concept of television was pioneered by several inventors, including John Logie Baird, who achieved the first televised moving images in the 1920s, and Philo Farnsworth, who developed the first fully electronic television system in 1927. Despite these achievements, critics doubted its future, insisting that, guess what? Radio was good enough for entertainment and that television was an expensive novelty for the wealthy. RCA, a major player in early television, was among the first companies to produce commercial television sets in the 1930s, yet the technology still faced slow adoption due to high costs and skepticism. But with advances in technology and affordability, especially after World War II, television sets became central to family life, reshaping how people engage with news, culture, and entertainment. From live broadcasts of historic events to sitcoms that brought laughter into living rooms, television transformed media forever, proving that the early doubts couldn't have been more wrong. Solar panels. Could harnessing sunlight have stayed a far-off idea? Early solar technology, dating back to the 19th century, was largely experimental. The first solar cell capable of converting sunlight into electricity was developed in 1883 by Charles Fritz, but it was highly inefficient, converting less than 1% of sunlight into energy. Decades later, in 1954, Bell Labs created a more effective silicon-based solar cell, yet many still saw solar power as impractical and too costly to ever replace traditional energy sources. However, as energy demands grew and environmental concerns escalated, solar technology advanced and costs dropped, transforming solar panels from a novelty into a mainstream, eco-friendly solution. Today, solar power plays a crucial role in sustainable energy worldwide, making a once-dismissed concept essential for a greener future. Transistor. What if electronics had remained bulky and fragile? When the transistor was first developed at Bell Labs in 1947 by John Bardeen, Walter Brattain, and William Shockley, many in the industry were skeptical. Some engineers dismissed transistors as unstable compared to the established vacuum tubes, believing they would never replace these larger, more powerful components. Critics feared that the new technology wouldn't be reliable enough for practical applications. However, as transistors proved to be smaller, more efficient, and significantly more durable, they quickly became the backbone of modern electronics. This tiny innovation paved the way for the development of everything from radios to smartphones and satellites, fundamentally revolutionizing technology and enabling the digital age we live in today. Artificial intelligence. What if AI had been abandoned as too speculative? When AI research began in the 1950s, spearheaded by pioneers like Alan Turing and John McCarthy, many viewed it as overly ambitious. Early AI work was supported by researchers at institutions like MIT, Stanford, and IBM. However, progress was slow, and by the 1970s, skepticism grew, leading to the first AI winter, where funding dried up and interest waned. Major investors, including DARPA, scaled back funding after early promises fell short, reinforcing doubts about AI's future. Despite these setbacks, companies like IBM, through its Deep Blue project in the 1990s and later Google DeepMind, which famously developed AlphaGo, brought AI back into the spotlight with groundbreaking achievements. Investors like Elon Musk and Sam Altman, OpenAI, alongside tech giants like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon, fueled rapid AI advancements with major financial backing. Today, AI is a transformative force, integrated into countless industries, from healthcare and finance to entertainment and autonomous vehicles, proving that what once seemed speculative has become a driving force in technology. So next time you have a crazy idea, remember, maybe you're just ahead of the curve. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the journey through these rejected innovations, and don't forget to subscribe for more surprising stories. Until next time, keep thinking big, even if no one else gets it yet.